Right, I just need to finish off the DCC wiring. I've just got one small bit left to put some droppers on. So didn't notice this one when I was just doing the wiring earlier. So let me just turn the board over so you can actually see. Oh, just before I do that, you'll notice I've put some sides and a back piece on. These will get the back seams put on there eventually, but they're there sort of to protect the board, and it gives me something when, so if you are putting it on its side or even on its top, it just gives you that ease, so you're not damaging any of your scenery or track. So as you can see, I've used copper bus for all the track, and I've got an inner and outer DCC circuit. Normally you would sort of wire them all as one DC circuit, but I've decided that I want to run, you know, different locos, and maybe analog locos on one circuit and DCC on the other. And if I want to run DCC on both, I'll put a switch on the control box so it powers them all off the one controller then. But what I use is this sort of slug tape. You don't have to use this exact same one, but any of the, as long as it's proper copper tape. Some of the ones people sell looks like copper and it isn't, so you need to make sure you've got the proper copper tape. This has got like a corrugated edge to it, and I cut the corrugated edge off and then cut it in half, and then that forms my DCC bus, and it's quite handy. If I need to join it, it does actually have copper on both sides, but obviously you've got a bit of adhesive, so if I do join it, I tend to just put a solder joint over the join. So, and that's really, it just makes a nice neat, instead of having wires everywhere, you just can take a few droppers out and just put them straight onto the copper bus. So I'm going to get those other two holes, probably come about here, drilled, and then get those soldered on. I always drill just on the outside. Not everybody does this. I just tend to find it's easier, and I'll hide all these solder joints with weathering of the track. I was just taking it as gentle as I can because I don't want to drill into the desk that I've got below it, and also damage the track. So I'll get two wires soldered on there. I tend to use red and black. I mean, obviously DCC you don't need colours, but I use red and black. I always put red just on the side that faces you, and black on the opposite side. It's just something I normally do. So like I said, you don't actually need it for DCC, any colours, but it helps, you know, especially when you come to wiring up below. And just thought to I've wired it here, the droppers, rather than at the end here, and the idea of that is if I want to run it on DC, I might put a break in the track and then do some wires to a switch, so I can then have this as an isolated track as well. So that's just a thought, you know. I may do it, I may not do it, but it's then would be quite nice. Then you could actually run something around here, have something isolated on here, so there's something else just parked up in a siding. But anyway, let's get my solder joint on here. I've just got these the last two wires. I've attached them to the tracks, put them through, but I'm not going to go straight across because obviously my point motors need to go there. So I'm just going to give it a bit of slack, and so don't get in the way of any point motors. So cut them off there. some wire strippers. Just twist them up a little bit. Stop some fraying when you come to solder. And you'll need to just tin all the wires. Never be tempted to blow on the soldering joints to cool them down, you just get a bad joint. And I will secure these wires so they're not dangling all loose. I think that's really all the track properly wired. So I'll do a little bit of testing. So how I was testing the track, just using my fluke on the ohms and just making sure that everything will connect. So if you've got as close to 0 ohms as possible. Oh, we have a little bit of a high read in there, is that? Oh, I think that was just me, not getting it quite on the track. And then also you need to check both circuits. I check it on every single track piece, just make sure I've got as close to 0 ohms as possible. So not sure if that was coming out, so you can see. If I can get it to read on the track. So, and I'll go through all the track and just make sure. Also you can then, if you want to do it a different way, you can set this up to volts and put your controller on and then just measure a voltage across each track and just check for any voltage drop. So either way is good. Also running a loco around gives you a good idea of any dead spots, especially on analog. Now digital is slightly different because it sends a signal, and as long as it's above a certain voltage the signal will still get there. So you might have a slight high resistance on one piece of track. That's why on DCC we put a lot more droppers on than just DC. Anyway, I'm going to finish off now, and I'll see you on the next video.